You got Apple Watch? I want Apple Watch. Dun 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 dun, Korea Heist.
Episode 2, Korea Heist. Here's your review. But before we get into it, I want to point out, I don't like the fact that episode 2 is called episode 2. We addressed this in episode 1, but, I mean, surely you can have names for the episode. Just makes the episode stand out. It makes, you get more excited when you see the name of an episode. You're like, oh, that sounds like a good episode name. Like, how can you really get excited by episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, 4, 5, 6?
Well, the show's good. Like, the title of the episode doesn't bother me, but I get the point, right? And I feel like with this episode, we went backwards. Severely backwards.
Yeah, we did go backwards. Maybe, arguably, the worst episode of, well, so far anyway.
No, because not the problem.
That's a given.
Is, like, see with these Korean shows, you get the episodes tend to be like 70 minutes, or at least an hour. And I don't even feel like I thought with this show, because like I've seen clips of the other Money Heist that wasn't the Korean version, but it looks like, I know there's 2 parts to this and they're releasing it soon, but I feel like they're just dragging the arse of the fact that they're in this building. I feel like they're completely dragging it.
Well, in the Spanish version, there's fucking like 5 seasons and over like 60 episodes, so I don't know what they're doing.
I don't know, but it looks like they're on the run, and obviously that's probably what this is going to allude to again, but I don't know, man, we had stupid decisions in this, but let's kick off with the episode begun, and we'll break it down and bury it.
Yeah, so episode 1 finished with them obviously finding the room to print the money. And that's kind of where episode 2 starts. They're printing the money. They're making money. You've got some of the people that work in the mint. They're arguing with each other. They're not printing money correctly. And they're basically being monitored. So they need to print the money correctly. Meanwhile, outside the mint, the professor is having a phone call with, what's her name? The
head policewoman.
Negotiation hostage officer. What's her fucking name?
I don't know what her name is, mate, but right.
Woojin, right? We'll go
Woojin, her, because that's such a distinctive Korean fucking name, innit?
Sounds like all the learning Korean names. But yeah, the professor's speaking to Woojin, and straight off the bat here, man, so he addresses that she's lied to him because they said that they weren't going to, they weren't going to come in. And obviously, last episode they did try to come in, but he kind of lied first and said there's only 4. That's why they were going to go in the first place, so they haven't been truthful with each other. So the professor thinks that they should start getting personal, and then he starts asking her when was the last time she had sex and when was the last time she had an orgasm, right? And I get that secretly he's dating her, and maybe these are questions he wants to know, but I thought doing this was I thought this was a bit risky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
It blows cover completely.
I get it. She's got no reason to just pluck it out of nowhere that it's him. Of course not, but to me, it's not that it was blowing his cover, but it was more like, sometimes they say you don't risk, pleasure with business. And I felt like they're in the middle of trying to pull off the biggest heist of all time, but he, by doing so, by trying to, delay.
And does it not just look like Exhibit A of attempting to stall?
Well, I think that's kind of what it is, but although he makes them believe that they're the ones stalling, when in reality it's the robbers. But they say that you shouldn't mix business with pleasure, so I just thought it was a bit weird that he's trying to get her to answer questions about their sex life. Well,
yeah, you know what? I'm already bored of these two's conversations. I don't care one bit.
So I thought that was a bit weird. I'm not saying I hate it, like.
See, another thing I think's weird, right? They're digging a tunnel, so the police outside know they've got hostages, which that is like the weight on the situation for the police, and the Koreas, the North and South were united, right? But realistically, how are they going to be able to get out of this building? Surely, if they're like, well, like there is tunnels, there should be blueprints. Why are the police not looking at blueprints? Like, right, well, this is how they're going to escape. So why don't we just block off all these underground tunnels? Realistically, right? You've seen the episodes. I haven't, but
hold on. They know the ways in and out. I don't understand.
But all these people are trapped inside the building, right? And you've got the crew with all the money. The main guy, the professor, he could just I don't know, man. I just feel like the whole plot and everything is a fucking mess. Sorry, I do.
I feel like you're a mess. What's your point here?
I don't get how these ones can get out the building.
Well, we'll find it. I don't understand either, but we'll find it. Right, so...
It says to me they're not out the building by episode 6. Cheers for that. Right, anyway, let's go.
Well, no, well, they might be, but... right, so... Yeah, Mum wants to smoke the shitload of you, man, seriously. Because you are a bit of a dipshit.
Alright, wiring plugs for exposing the copper.
I made one fucking mistake, you cunt, right?
No, that's not a mistake. That's a fucking chromosome level missing. Oh, well, why are this fit together, mate? Expose the copper. Expose the Koreans. We're on the same team here.
So the director tells his mistress that he's got a watch and that they could try and get to the watch and alert the police and let them know what's happening inside, and they can try and give away their plan. Because obviously the hostages inside know that the professor's team are trying to stall everything, but the people on the outside think the opposite. They think they're stalling to help their plans, but in reality, that's what the professor wants. He wants them to stall because they're too busy printing money. They're not ready to leave. They need at least a few days to print the money that they need. So he sends her to try and get he actually goes to get the watch first, but he's unsuccessful. And then he gets taken, but they take them all back to like the main room, and Berlin's not happy, so he comes up with this plan to split them up and divide them into groups, North Koreans and South Koreans, and straight away there's like some tension, and he says that if a North Korean does something, a South Korean will be punished, and if a South Korean does something, then a North Korean will be punished. We're going to get flashbacks before the team go in, and the professor says that this is one plan of keeping hostages in line, but he said it's a last resort. So yeah, maybe Berlin went to this option too quickly, but he's done it. And I mean, this kind of works. I mean, it could work, but then again, it could also work in a way against them, because maybe people would be more likely to not follow the rules because they know it's not one of their kind that's getting punished. It'll be someone from a different. It'll be a South Korean knows if they do something, it's going to be a North Korean getting punished. So maybe they won't really care about the consequences. So anyway, I thought that was a bit weird. Then the director basically tells his mistress, Misun, where his watch is. So she makes up some lie. Well, technically not. Well, it is a lie, but she's already lied about this once that she's pregnant. So she gets taken to a room to rest by Denver. She then sneaks out and she finds the watch. Meanwhile, Denver comes back and he's got a lot of food for her and stuff like this because she's pregnant, but she kind of hides the watch so he can't see it. Meanwhile, we have...
Not meanwhile, right? Let's get down to business. Denver is a tool. I know they played on the fact he's talking with his dad about, I've got mommy issues, daddy, right? But why does he care so much about this? So fucking wet.
Mate, I don't know. I think Denver's had some sort of shit childhood where his mum abandoned him, so maybe he doesn't like the fact that there's a baby potentially being harmed here or mistreated or neglected. But anyway, yeah.
You're led to believe this professor's teams are they're the best of the best. They know what they're doing, and to be honest,
no, they're not very good. But
it seems like they couldn't change the light bulb between them. The hacker guy, right? He's good at hacking, but in terms of everything else, he gets.
Well, in fairness, that's all he's really there for.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He's the only one there who's actually got qualities. And then the main character, the woman for episode 1, literally did hee-haw in this episode. And then the guy for Squid Game, what's his name?
Berlin.
He seems like the only guy that's wired.
You're wired.
The only guy I like. I don't like the gimmick, the fact that they're treating these hostages like they're flesh and blood. I get it. They're trying to keep them in line for the tasks at hand, but... I don't know, you've got a show here where the police can't do anything because they're waiting, and these guys have to wait because they have to print the money, while the hostages are kind of stuck in the middle having to just do what the people want because, well, we have to, because if you do what we do, we'll keep you safe. They're safe! It's kind of like we're stuck in no man's land here. Anyway, Berlin, he's the top man. Continue. I like Berlin. If they were all like Berlin, it would be good, but they're not like all Berlin.
So then the US ambassador's daughter makes up some scheme. So she says she's on her period. So Rio takes her to the bathroom. This allows Misun to get the watch in the first place. Then while she's at the bathroom, she tries to seduce him, and he kind of just falls for this. But she steals the gun, points the gun at his chest. He tells her to shoot. She shoots, but safety's on, so he kind of just like pulls the gun off her, and it was, I mean, this reminded me of something that I think I seen in Metal Gear Solid, the way he just kind of like switched up the gun really quickly. It's like a pish version of Solid Snake.
It was. He's like, safety's off.
Gotta put the safety on, rookie. Yeah, like Meryl and Snake. But anyway, regardless, he marches them back out to the hall. Then they alert Berlin. Berlin tells the group to meet up in like the main section of the Mint. And again, he's like, look, he's betrayed my orders here. He's are not following my command. And he calls up the director. The director at this stage is shitting himself. And I think this director guy, I think he was in Squid Game as well, by the way. I think he was, I'm pretty sure he was like the man that plays marbles with the bad guy with the tattoos.
I think you're right.
I think that's him, by the way, because it's got the same sort of facial expressions and eyes. Anyway, so Berlin calls him up, and he thinks that it's going to get fucked. He thinks he's fucked at this stage. Berlin says that since he's the director, he's going to put him in charge, and he gives him like this device, this scanning device, that he says he wants them to scan everybody because
it's like a metal detector.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
Because there's a metal detector. Now, the reason he knows that there's something going on here is because the professor was having lunch with Woojin.
Yes, and I think this is stupid because him knowing about the watch is literally, he's found that out from her, and him then telling Berlin about this watch, and the police now know that they know about the watch. Does that not kind of make it seem like it's him? Especially with the fact he was eavesdropping on the conversation.
No, someone inside could have easily found it. In fairness, someone should have found the watch, and Berlin says that they would have known about the watch if Denver and Rio were doing their jobs correctly.
I don't know, but the fact this professor dude was eavesdropping as well, and then he tries to sell it for it. How does she go for putting the handcuffs on the table?
Yeah, so basically they're having lunch. She gets a phone call. He says he'll go to the other room and let her take the call. And while she's on the call, she like sees in a mirror that he's like standing behind the door eavesdropping. When he comes out, she says she's got to go, and then she like tells him, "I want to know why you were eavesdropping in my conversation," and then slams the cuffs down, which I thought was a bit unnecessary. Like, I mean,
was that just putting something down, or I'm going to arrest you here for questioning?
I thought it was maybe arrested for questioning, but then he explains that, you know, he really likes her, and he's a bit concerned that things aren't going the way he wants them to go. He ain't going in the direction that he thinks he should be going in, and he thinks that maybe that she was with someone else, and she explains that she's not with someone else, but that she's just...
his wee room, his command centre, is that not literally where he was eavesdropping from?
I think that's close enough, like, and then, yeah, but she basically just says, look, she's been busy with this case, and that she does like him, and that she does want things to go further. So then she leaves and goes back, and it's at this point the professor calls Berlin and lets Berlin know that there is this device that they've been trying to contact the outside from. Berlin seems pissed off with Rio and Denver, and to be fair, so he should be, because I mean, they're supposed to be keeping an eye on these people, like, and they literally could have got the whole plan fucked.
Yeah, very
incompetence, like
all these guys. So
yeah, then we go back to the electronic device. He gives the director's scanning everyone, but when he scans over his mistress, Misun, he doesn't really scan it correctly. Then Berlin calls him back and says, that's not how you scan someone. And then he scans it, and nothing really happens until he goes to like the chest area, and then it like detects something, but it turns out it's just her necklace. So he goes to continue down to scan the next person, but then she drops the watch.
But see, if you're going to hide a watch or something, it's going to be below the neck area. So why wouldn't he scan it? Like below that area?
He did scan, but what I'm assuming is she was moving it about, and that's why she dropped it.
She had her hands by her side the whole time.
Did she really? Because when she first took the watch, she put it into like the pocket of her, like the chest area of her jacket suit.
To my memory, I think she had her hands by her side.
She had it in. I'm just saying, when she first took it, she put it like in here.
Point is, I feel like Berlin should have did better, regardless of where she put it. He didn't. He scanned a further way down. And then went, we'll move on to the next person.
So then it drops, and he starts going into like psycho mode and starts like stomping the shit out of the watch. On the outside, the negotiations team just managed to like link into the watch. They manage to get through, but before they can really gain any information, the watch is stamped out.
Say again, though, what information are they going to gain?
Well, they're going to hear their plan, aren't they? They're going to hear everything.
Aye, their plan, but they basically already know their plan.
Well, they don't really. They don't even know that they're printing money. They don't know that they're trying to delay the negotiations.
They should kind of put two and two together.
The negotiation team think that they're trying to starve them out.
Taking money. They know they're in there to take money. They know that. They can't go in because all the hostages, and they know them are bearing down for a few days. So what information are they really going to learn? There was so much hype put on this Apple Watch when realistically it wasn't going to change things drastically.
Alright, you negative bastard, so...
I'm just being honest.
Berlin then says that he blames Rio and Denver, and he tells both of them, he says, look, one of you need to shoot her, since it was basically your fault. Then Denver kind of steps up, he drags her away into like this bathroom, and at this stage Rio kind of runs to the printing room to get help, I guess, I don't know, he runs to tell Tokyo and Nairobi what's happening in the main hall. Then we have the Berlin, he calls up the director and basically kind of like gives him a fake hug and says, I know this was all down to you, I know this is all your fault, but don't worry, you're going to be punished. Your punishment is the fact that her death is on your hands.
So he gives a shit, man. This guy's loving life.
Yeah, I mean, it would be pretty good. That's a pretty good punishment, like, if this guy cared, but... I mean, well, maybe he cares about death. I don't know. Then...
To save it, I mean, if it was his actual wife or his kids, you can maybe see it, like, but you can kind of see this guy's just a self-centered bastard.
Then in the bathroom, we see Denver. He's not happy that she was lying about the baby, because he seems to be taking this whole baby motherhood thing very, very personal, and then when he finds out it was all a lie, kind of pisses him off, and he's like stamping and pacing and kind of delaying the inevitable, but then he kind of just pulls he puts the gun at her, pulls the trigger, and then you see, like, I think Tokyo's running to the direction to try and stop him, but boom, shot goes off. Pulls the trigger, that's it, deed. And
was she dead? I don't know.
That's the professor's plan kind of out the window here, because he was like, you know, this will all go to plan, this will work as long as we don't kill or harm any hostages. Well, that plan's now out the window, so we will see what happens going forward in episode 3. I thought episode 2 was pretty slow. I think they came up with stupid stuff just to try and drag it out. You know, the fact that the episode's an hour long, I feel like you could have wrapped this up in half the time. And the fact that Rio and Denver just appear to be... Alright, maybe Rio because he's a computer hacker. I can but this Denver guy, yeah, he was a boxer, but...
But again, say she's dead, this woman who was not pregnant. Say she's dead or not dead. How are they ever going to discover that information? You know, it would take them to have to get every hostage accounted for, and by that point, the people inside have no leverage if they're already out.
We'll see.
You know, like, if the professor says, I'll give you half the hostages for, like, half of my team has escaped, or something like that, it doesn't really matter, because you'll never know if any of the hostages are dead or not. So I think the whole gimmick of you can't kill any of the hostages, because it doesn't give it any bargaining chips, you can kill them.
As long as they don't know you've killed them.
Exactly.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens, but yeah, I thought this episode was pretty slow. Definitely not as good as episode 1. Hopefully episode 3 picks up. I'm going to give this, I'm going to give a 5 out of 10.
I like the fact the Koreans, they build suspense. See when there's these scenes where they can get caught with something, they know how to do it. Doesn't change the logic though, so I'll give it a 4.
4? Oh, Jesus Christ. A 4.5. There you go, guys. 4.5 out of 10 for episode 2. I mean, I like it, but I feel like when you drag episodes out so much, a lot of it did feel a bit filler in my opinion, right? And some of the acting from like Denver and Rio, you're thinking, why the fuck did the professor? I mean, he wants to pull off the biggest heist of all time, and he's sending these people in. Surely he would have came equipped with a better team. But here, 4 out of 5. Episode 3 will be better. I'm sure of it. So make sure you check out the review, and we'll catch you in the next one. But until then, until next time, peace.